still found the time to come across some news here over the last week. First thing that I had on my list was a post from Rudy Ooms on the Patch My PC blog on improving the onboarding experience. So how we can automatically launch the company portal for users as they get through the autopilot enrollment process. So just a couple of things that I want to point out here in the blog post. As Rudy points out, at Ignite, Microsoft did announce an automatic startup feature for the new company portal, which is really just a facelift. We've talked about it a couple of times here on Office Hours, which should really improve the user onboarding experience after they go through autopilot and then just get straight into the company portal. But here's really the meat of this blog post, I think, as Rudy mentions. That's obviously not out in production yet. It was just an announcement during Ignite, but he goes through some ways that we can achieve something similar with the tools that we have today. And I want to take this section directly from what Rudy said. By leveraging its enhanced capabilities, we can start shifting away from the traditional ESP and let the company portal take center stage. This approach simplifies onboarding while ensuring users are informed about app installations and compliance in a seamless, intuitive way. And this is interesting to me because this is kind of going along with some things that I felt like we were starting to hear at MMS in October, that there are opportunities for us to start leveraging the company portal more and more than we currently are today. So this is a really interesting blog post. I like what Rudy's done here, as always, doing some serious deep dives, as he has become well known for. Highly recommend checking this out, maybe throwing something up in your lab and seeing what this experience could look like here in the future. So thanks for putting this together, Rudy. Also noticed that Microsoft announced the dates for what's become a pretty fantastic event over the last few years. Johan, you and I have been a big fan of how they've done this. And I'm talking about the Microsoft Technical Takeoff here. So in the past, the last few years that they've done the Technical Takeoff, this has primarily surrounded things like Intune, Entra, Windows 365, all of the solutions that we're using in systems management today. Usually a couple of half days. We don't quite have an agenda yet for this, but we do have a date and time. So March 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th. From 7 a.m. to noon Pacific time, so roughly half days. I would go ahead and mark your calendar for the Technical Takeoff, and then we'll keep an eye out for this agenda to be released here in January, it looks like, and we'll make sure that we definitely will be talking about it on Office Hours, I have no doubt. Couple of other things that I ran across. Peter Vanderwood put together a blog post on device compliance for WSL. So if you need to manage compliance for WSL across your footprint, there are a couple of things that you need to do here, including the Intune WSL plugin. You need to deploy that out to your devices and then put together some compliance policies. So Peter put together a step-by-step on how you can do that in your environment and start managing compliance for your WSL deployments. And last but not least, another gentleman that has been extremely busy lately, it seems like, Steve Weiner over at the Get Rubik's blog put together a post on how you can manage HKCU or the current user registry Hive with Intune. And why this is important, I'll just, again, I don't want to steal the thunder from Steve's blog post here. So I just want to point out the reason for this blog post is HKCU. If you actually run a get child item path and look at just HKCU and PowerShell, you'll see if you run it as a user, you will get your current user registry Hive. But if you're doing this through Intune and you're running this as system, you're not going to get anything. There is no logged in user. You're just system. There's no profile. So you have to find ways to work around that, determine which user hives are present on a device. And Steve does a very nice job, as usual, walking through how you can actually do that. So another great tool in the Intune tool belt, I should say. So really great stuff, again, as always, coming out of the community over the last week. And that was what I had for today, Johan.
All right. Thank you so much, sir. I haven't been entirely away from the community, even though we have been busy with the class. So I have a few things I wanted to share. The first one, I was up way past my bedtime last night, working on a Intune report for a customer, ConfigMgr/Intune health check, and after like 7 hours writing, I was like, no, I've had it. I need to do something else. So I decided I should make a better Ninja Cat. I haven't really liked that character that is floating. So I spent some time with some AIs that I've been using in the past, and this is what came out of it. A better Ninja Cat.
That's pretty cool.
So basically a crossing of Jurassic Park and a cat with a flag. So that was fun. And you can see from the timestamp when I was done with it, that was early.
Yeah, exactly. You were past late.
But on the update side of things, ConfigMgr 24.9 was released as an early ring. So if you want to play around with that, do that in your lab, not production. It's going to take a little while until all quirks are sorted out. It's always like that. There will be a month or so, and then it's going to be another update released, and they always find something. So get it going in your lab, but don't update your production just yet. As always, to get it installed, you need to download that early enable early ring exe file, that when you run it will extract the PowerShell script, and then you simply open up a PowerShell prompt, put it where you have that script, and you run the script. You specify your site server, and optionally a verbose, and then hit enter. And the next time you open the console, it will show you that you have 24.9 available. And I simply went ahead and installed it. As always, if you do an installation of a ConfigMgr update, make sure you don't have any pending reboots. I happen to like to run a script to check for pending reboots. I have that up on our repository, but basically run that and see there are no rebooting pending, because it's like the update doesn't like it. Simple as that. Some of the announcements or features in 24.9, in the search area, you can now specify which workspace you want to search in when you're searching for things globally in ConfigMgr. There were some changes regarding renewal of keys. So if I go over to my tenant and, for example, want to renew my Cloud Management Gateway key, now when you click renew here, you get a new dialog where you basically can configure a little bit on how long the key should be configured. So that was a nice addition. There was also support for ARM in terms of software metering. And something else about ARM that I forgot. BitLocker support for ARM.
Ah, yep.
Quite important one. If the one I should remember is probably that one, but disk encryption, yeah, ARM supported, absolutely yes. Plus official support for Windows 11 24 H2 as well as Windows Server 2025. It happened to work before, even in 24.3, but it was not officially supported. So that was some of the changes I stumbled across in this new release. There was also enhanced security for CMG. I haven't had a chance to play around with that one yet, but if you go to Cloud Management Gateway and take a look, there is this new thing up here that changed how the storage account is used. But yeah, maybe we can talk about that more next week when I have a chance to actually play around with it. On the bad side, or sad side, however you word it, Microsoft did announce yesterday that they going to deprecate the support for the MDT integration in ConfigMgr. It happened to still work. I tested it out in 24.9, but there was a note saying that they're going to end the support on October, planned end support for October 2025. Planned ending of support can change, but I had this. It had been coming for a while. This change.
I mean,
There haven't been it hasn't been an update in close to a decade on that
well,
integration. So,
and I suspect you've talked about this a bit on Office Hours before. I suspect it's not coincidental that it's coinciding with the end of life of Windows 10, right?
that seems like it. That seems like it. I mean, if you read the regular MDT release note, it basically says as long as there is mainstream support of the latest Windows 10 version that's supported, which is actually 1809, we will be supported. But that time, of course, has passed a long time ago. But yeah, good point there. Absolutely.
That's
So
probably one of those times that you're not happy that you're right about something.
no, I mean, I love MDT. It's been part of me for almost 20 years. There's a lot of things that I've been working with it, and it's yeah, extended family. Put it that way. That's how I view it. So sad that it's been gone. Sad that it didn't was continued, but heck, life changes. Other things will take its place. Right now, the only solution we have available supportedly for config is for imaging is ConfigMgr from Microsoft. So, but that's why we have other companies now starting to develop solutions. 2Byte Software that I work part time for. We didn't hire Michael Niehaus just because his good looks. It's also to help writing a new deployment solution, and who better to do that than basically the grandfather of MDT. So we have something coming out, Deploy R, at some point next year. So looking forward to that.
It's exciting stuff.
Yeah, very much, and it's going to be part community, part commercial, like a lot of things. But we will have more information to share down the road on that one. So that's very cool. I've also been writing a few blog posts. I've been arguing with Sysprep as of late. I learned that even the Windows 10 media, I thought it was only Windows 11, the November media having having the Copilot app installed by default. So even if you disable internet access on your VM, you still get it. It's part of the media itself. So you have to remove it. Otherwise, Sysprep is going to be fantastically upset. And it's not like it fails. You can run the command and try again. It breaks so bad, so the machine is unusable. If you reboot it again, you cannot log in ever to it. So you have to start over. And that is fun. But now I know it. So now I just added in a step into my sequence when I was building images, still with MDT for that, I should add, into my Windows 11 24H2 here to just nuke it. the script that runs that command. So easy to fix, but a bit annoying, I thought.
Mm-hmm. That looked like a very unhappy Sysprep.
I was very unhappy. Then I finally came about earlier Sunday. Is it was no Monday? I think it actually was Sunday. I published this one. It just happened to have switched over to Monday. It was after midnight. But I was presenting at Ignite, and that session was not recorded, unfortunately. So I put together the blog post that I promised to share. So I did. So this is like a short version summary of everything I covered in the session. Everything from prepping to readiness to DO settings and upgrading, and also share the scripts that we showcased or that I showcased in the session here. So basically a script to generate scripts. So this is a PowerShell script that, first of all, there's one script that will check for the presence of a script and the version of a script. If it's not there, it will create it. So it will call the remediation, and that remediation will generate a couple of things. So it will generate a batch file that is used for setup complete CMD. It's using a PowerShell script called by that batch file. It creates the init file that has all the settings for the upgrades, and it also generates a local logging module here. I learned something new this week, and also that there are tree controls or code control in PowerShell allow you to basically take a snippet and just say this function, go ahead and export it to a file. Brilliant. Did not know that before, so I have some creative finds, I thought. But long story short, you run this script, and when you go into your file system, you will have these files being created, and the setup is going to use them because of the init file. So that was that.